Welcome back. My name is Theresa and I'm very much alive. And if you're new here, welcome. I have an awful, garbage, filthy mouth where sometimes, just sometimes, I tend to use the word fuck as a comma.
I know, I'm disgusting.
But if you're not into that or weird stuff in general, this is not the place for you. Feel free to exit the video here. No harm, no foul. But I'll remember our time fondly. If you want to jump straight to the overall review of the Midas Cosmetics Smokey Glow collaboration, it's finally here, y'all. I'll leave a time code down below. Feel free to jump ahead. Pumpkins, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, what did I do in my previous life to get this life? You know what I mean? How did this happen? I don't know, all right? Anyway, so I have a coworker, let's call her Clara. Clara is hands down, the most annoying person I've ever met. Yes, worse than Bob. Yes, worse than John. Yes, worse than everybody else that I've ever mentioned. This one, like I get visibly just, I can't. My patience is at an all-time low anytime I have to deal with Clara. Her energy and her abrasiveness when she talks to you is just so grating on my soul. I can't stand it. She makes working on projects with her extra annoying if that's possible because she insists on doing things her way. And if you try to correct her, wrong move, buddy. She gives you this long-winded story that has nothing to do with anything that you're talking about, and you leave more confused. When she calls my work phone, I loudly groan and I pick up and pretend it's the answering machine. And it worked. But that's another story for another day. The other day, Clara asked me to do something. And I'm not even joking or being hyperbolic when I say this. She wanted me to sit with her while she searched through her email to find this one exact email from about 6 years ago, detailing about a process that we used to do, but we no longer do. And she did so because she completely believed in her heart that's how we do something. However, there have been multiple iterations of this process that have been updated to show that we haven't been doing it for 6 fucking years, okay? You see what I'm saying? Are you mad or is it just me? And she firmly believed that it was still in practice, considering everyone, not just me, everybody has been telling her otherwise. She just wanted to be so fucking right, and I cannot stand people like that. And to add insult to injury, she types like this. Okay? She's not even old. She's not even old. I could forgive that for someone who was an older person. I get it. Fine, all right? This person is not that much older than me. I don't know what this is. Anyway, so with that said, this is pretty much what happened.
It has to be here. I remember it being here.
Right, but remember, we now do it this way. And when I said that, I actually handed her a piece of paper that outlines what we have to do now, right? On the top, it says the date of like when this is effective, whatever. I hand it to her. She doesn't even look at the paper. She just kind of grabs it and then tosses it on the side of her. And she just goes, Okay, cool. And with her typing, and now I find that her typing is getting even more louder. So for someone who has misophonia, this really fucking hurts, okay? And her keyboard is not like a quiet, soft touch keyboard. It's like a mechanical keyboard. So it's like, click, click. Oh my God, it's driving me insane. Just even thinking about it is getting me mad. After 16 minutes of aggressively slow typing and telling me for a fact that she knew that what I was saying was wrong because we still do a process this way, she stops typing, she turns her chair and looks me in the face and says,
You know, one time I was in Mexico on vacation and it was so gorgeous. The beaches were beautiful. Oh, you would have loved it.
The fuck are you talking about?
One time a waiter brought me a plate of spaghetti. I didn't even order it. And I was on the beach. Imagine me sitting in the sand eating spaghetti.
What the fuck are you, what the fuck does that even mean?
I love Mexico.
And then she turns away from me and continues to slow, aggressive type. I don't know what the fuck that means. I was trying to think of like, maybe it's one of those home improvement scenarios where, you know, Wilson would like say something really profound and be like,
Yeah, like the Phoenicians.
no, it was just her telling me that she went to Mexico and had spaghetti on a beach. What the fuck does that have to do with me telling you about a process that we currently do? The fuck? Anyway, so I just say to her, so yeah, did you find that document you were looking for?
Oh, no. I must have deleted it.
I wish I could delete you.
What?
Nothing. Anyway. I got nothing. Yep. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the new Midas Cosmetics Smokey Glow collaboration. In this video, we're going to be talking about the palette, the lip trio, and the highlighter duo. Without further ado, let's talk about the palette. So this palette retails for $36 before using a coupon code. Now, if you choose to use a code, the palette retails for about $28.80. I know it's currently out of stock, and I believe the folks that have purchased this palette are finally receiving their palette, so I feel like this review kind of comes in good timing. With that said, if you want to know more information about a possible restock, I encourage you to reach out to Midas Cosmetics directly. Now, this palette has 18 beautiful shades, 10 mattes, 2 satin shimmers, 2 foiled shimmers, 2 duochromes, and 2 extremely sparkly shimmers. The palette's packaging is fucking adorable and on par with Hannah's channel and Hannah's vibe. Now, what I love about this palette is that there is a mirror. So when you do open your little palette up, it says, "Hi friends," which I think is really adorable. And here is your lovely color story. Now, as you guys know, or you may not know, I hurt myself in a horrible jerking off accident. Just kidding. I realized how believable that sounded. Anyway, so I'm going to leave this palette down before I hurt myself. I will show you in the corner here 4 different looks that I created with this palette. I love Midas Cosmetics, and I discovered them sometime last year when they came out with the Lemonade palette, which, by the way, is the hands down best yellow monochromatic palette out there. Fuck you, ColourPop, eat a bag of dicks. The true winner is Midas Cosmetics. So if you are looking for a yellow eyeshadow palette, I recommend checking them out. It's fucking great. Now, with that said, I actually do own quite a few Midas Cosmetics palettes, and I did showcase them in my eyeshadow collection video. So if you haven't seen that, I will link it up there. What I love about Midas Cosmetics is that their formula, I find, is incredibly consistent. So I haven't had a palette yet where I'm like, ooh, bitch, this is off. Everything has been great. And I was incredibly hopeful that this palette would stay consistent with the other formula. Well, no, I'm kidding. Do you imagine? I'm like, it's shit. Regardless of my relationship with both Midas and Hannah, I would still be very truthful with you, but I'm happy to say that this palette is very consistent with the other Midas Cosmetics palettes that I own, which is fucking amazing because they would be really sad if they started to change the formula now because the formula is really good. Now, the mattes are a bit on the powdery side and actually can create a little bit of fallout, so it's one of those where you have to like tap that excess off, and you'll notice that you're actually picking up a lot of product from your brush. I wouldn't say that it's incredibly powdery like ABH, but it is powdery though. If you do get any fallout from the matte shades, I will say that it is incredibly easy to clean off. So that's nice. These eyeshadows blend out great, they work well together, and I feel like I'm able to create beautiful gradients when mixed together. I didn't experience any sort of patchiness or muddiness when using these shades or combining them together. I liked how each shade stood on their own. I found that no matter what base I use, whether it was NARS Soft Matte Concealer, Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Base, P. Louise Base, MAC Paint Pot, the Blood of My Enemies, the longevity is great. It lasts for a very, very long fucking time. And that's what I love about Midas Cosmetics shades, is that I never have to worry that something is gonna look faded or cracked or whatever. The longevity is perfect. There are 2 duochromes in this palette, and that's the shade Nutty and Group Chat. I found that the duochromes were actually my favorite part of this whole palette. They have beautiful pigmentation. The shift is so fucking nice. They work well with a brush or a finger. Like, it's literally the same sort of application. My favorite though is Nutty because I don't know, there's something about that shade. It's such a beautiful fucking shift. It's impossible to capture on camera. Like, you have to be in person. I remember wearing it. I think the first time I ever played with this, I wore this shade and I went to work and people were like, damn bitch, where the fuck are you going? I was just like, to meetings. It commands attention, and that's what I loved about that shade. It's like, I am a true bitch. And I loved it. As for the shimmers in this palette, I'm actually going to just talk about them together because it wasn't really that much of a difference other than the extremely sparkly ones. I did enjoy the shimmers. I think they have a really good payoff. Again, it's the kind of shades that you need to have your brush saturated or your finger in order to have like a really good payoff. If you use it dry, it's there, but it's not as pigmented as if you use it with a saturated brush. And for all my looks, I actually just use water. I really stopped using setting spray because I think that was been like fucking my ass up. Anytime I use my brush wet, it was with water. The shimmer shades have a great longevity. However, my only fucking complaint is with the extremely sparkly shadows. The fallout's fucking intense. It's insane. Now, of course, this can easily be avoided if you just do your eye makeup first, then your base, which is something that I had to fucking do. But the sparkly shimmers are fucking explosive, like eating way too much Arby's. There was literally Tinkerbell shit all over my face. And that was with both a finger and a fucking brush. It just all exploded here. So I had to use like a makeup wipe and a fucking makeup eraser just to get it off. But once I did, they're great. They're perfect. They're beautiful. They're Linda fucking Evangelista. They're awesome. Now, while this might not be my color story per se because I'm not a pink boy, I can appreciate the variety in this palette. And I find myself being able to create many different looks. I think this is at a great price point, and it's one of those palettes where I feel like I can finally say, this is not a companion piece. This is a solid palette and I'm very happy to have this in my collection. Let's talk about the highlighter next. This guy retails for $21, but again, with the code, this comes out to about $16.80. The highlighter duo comes in two shades. One is more of a demure pink alien slut, while the other one is more of a demand your attention gold slut. I want to say this is probably the first highlighter in palette for Midas Cosmetics. They do have a highlighter. It's a loose highlighter. So I was incredibly intrigued when Hannah announced that she was also coming out with a highlighter duo. The packaging on this little guy is really lovely. It's a hair different from the palette. It's like a little bit more of like, I believe she said like a hyper sparkle finish, hyper drive. I don't know what the fuck she said, but it's definitely a little bit more sparkly than say the palette. When you open her up, you do get a nice little mirror, which is nice. It's a pretty good size. And you get two highlighters. I really love the formula on these, like especially for the Slay side, it's very, very smooth. The Yes side has a little bit of texture compared to the Slay side. Slay just kind of has that slick, wet feel, while Yes feels like more of like a traditional powder highlight. It doesn't feel uncomfortable or anything like that. It's just there's a noticeable difference between those two highlighters. As someone who is an alien slut, I take pride in my highlighters and I want to be glowing from across the fucking street. On this side I put the Slay side, and on this side I put the Yes side. You can tell from the Slay side it's very soft. It's almost that kind of summer wet juicy look. You've been outside for way too long and you're like a little bit sweaty, but it's also kind of hot looking. This is definitely like a work appropriate slut. On the Yes side, it's definitely a little bit more blinding. However, I feel like on its own, if I were to not wear any bronzer or blush or anything like that, I feel like it might be a hair too dark for me. When I combine it with blush and bronzer, it actually mellows out, which is really, really nice. The Yes side also kind of gives me that like summertime glow feeling. I feel like I'm on vacation and I love it. During the work week, I found that I liked combining both of them because it kind of gives me that extra slutty glow. But on their own though, I think they're very lovely. I think my preference lies more with the kind of more highlighted side, obviously, because I have, again, unrealistic expectations. I want you to see me from outer space. As for longevity, I will say that the Yes side, I feel like lasts a little bit better than the Slay side. The Slay side starts to kind of fade away more towards the end of the day, while the Slay side is more prominent. I know Hannah mentioned in her video that she wanted to make a highlighter that was a little bit more on the universal side. And while it is incredibly difficult to do so because there are so many different fucking skin tones out there, I feel like she does do a really good job in trying to incorporate everybody. I will say though, that me being someone that's incredibly fair, if someone is actually even fairer than I am, I don't necessarily know if this highlighter palette, both shades will work. Because like I mentioned before, this shade, when used with bronzer and highlight, looks really good. On its own is a little bit too dark for me. So if you're someone that's really, really fair, I think you might be able to only really use Slay. And as someone who has deeper skin, of course, I can't comment on that. On the Midas Cosmetics website, they do show a couple different skin tone variations. Someone who has like light, medium, and deeper skin. And it does look really, really pretty. With that said, I really do enjoy this little palette, and I'm really hopeful that Midas Cosmetics will come out with a couple of more highlighters because I really enjoyed the formula on both of them, and I would love to see more colors. So the next thing I want to talk about is the lip gloss trio, which are these little bubbies right here. So the lip trio retails for about $25, but if you use a code, it will come down to 20 bucks. The first one is Hi Friends, which is more of an opaque coral color. The next shade is Sparkle On, which is your gold gloss. It has a lot of sparkly bits in it. And last but not least, you have the shade Never Dull, which is more of like traditional pink gloss. I think out of all three glosses, my preference is Never Dull. You guys know I am not someone that does a bold lip by any means. The coral shade, while I really did appreciate that this is incredibly opaque and that actually one coat was able to cover my whole mouth, which is pretty fucking fantastic. This is just a color that I really wouldn't wear because I just don't like the emphasis on my mouth. It's just, I never have, never will. Like, it's just never gonna happen, Susie, all right? When I did wear it for the short time, I liked the formula, I liked the feel of it. I didn't feel like it was overly messy. It was really, really nice. It's just not the color for me. Now the other shade, Sparkle On. Okay, so on the lips, I think it looks so fucking pretty because it just definitely gives me that like early 2000s e-girl where I have like really frosted tips and I wear butterfly clips, and I was like, fuck yes, I'm living for this. What I don't like about this product is that you feel the fucking glitter. You feel the glitter. It kind of feels a little gritty. Not my cup of tea. I don't like how it sits. Felt like the longer I had it on, the more aware of the glitter I was, and I just felt uncomfortable. So I could only wear this for a very, very short period of time. It sucks because it's fucking beautiful, but it reminds me of like those Wet n Wild glosses that came out that had all like sparkly bits in it that people were like losing their minds over. I am just not somebody that likes any sort of like grit or texture on my lips. I have incredibly dry lips. The last thing I need to do is emphasize any sort of fucking weird texture. So I wasn't a fan of it. It just sucks because it's really fucking pretty, and had I not been able to feel any of the glitters, I think this would have been perfect. Now my personal favorite is the Never Dull one, and again, it's because I'm a basic ass bitch, y'all. What can I fucking say? What I love about this one is that it's very comfortable to wear. Right now I'm currently just wearing it on its own. It has a little bit of color, pretty much matches my fucking chicken lips. It gives a beautiful shine. It has a really great wear down, and that's the one thing I love about Midas Cosmetics glosses in general. Their Goddess Gloss is one of my favorite fucking lip products ever. It looks so good on its own and with lipstick. Oh my god, I love it. This reminds me of it, except that this one's a little bit more stickier, but it's completely comfortable on the lips. This I've been wearing all week by itself, on top of lipstick, whatever. It's been incredibly fantastic. I haven't had any issues with this, and this is going to live in my makeup bag forever. So out of those three glosses, this is my number one here. I wish the coral color was something that was a little bit more wearable for me, but not the end of the world. It's still very beautiful. It's just, I know myself, I'm never gonna wear it. And this one, just disappointing because I just didn't like the kind of texture of it. But this, fucking perfect. Love it. And with that said, that is the Midas Cosmetics Smokey Glow collaboration. I really enjoyed this whole collaboration. Congratulations both Midas and Hannah. This is awesome. I hope that there's a restock very soon because this stuff is really fucking good. So with that said, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down below if you did purchase any of these things, or if you're going to be waiting for the restock, or you don't care, or whatever. Let me know because I love hearing from you guys. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free. And hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Discord, Patreon. Sometimes we do a podcast called Miserable 3. We haven't done it in a little bit, but I think we'll probably revisit that. I'm also doing another podcast called Dead and Bored with Alex. More information will be soon. And of course, we're going to be live streaming on Twitch soon, where I will be playing The Sims and just living my best life. If you're interested in any of those things, I will list it down in the description box below. And I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye.